Hello and welcome to Do You See What I See? I'm Yolanda Nava. Today's guest is an acclaimed writer and speaker, Victor Villaseñor. He's been famous ever since he wrote his classic book, Rain of Gold. He's written dozens of books, and now he has a wonderful new book called Gathering Stardust. It's a children's book. And Victor, I'm very excited about this book and about having you on the program. So welcome to Do You See What I See?
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
It's been over 25 years since I interviewed you for It's All in the Frijoles.
Ay, ay, ay.
Aye, 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 that's right. And you have a couple of stories in there that your father, shared with you, very witty stories. And you've been very prolific since that time, both as a writer and a speaker. But this is a big shift, this book, Gathering Stardust. It's quite profound. And I think it's a fantabulous book, full of wisdom and light and love. And I want to know what inspired you to write it.
Ay, ay, ay. What happens is I had 265 rejections before I sold my first book, Macho, in 73. And it was immediately compared to the best of John Steinbeck by the LA Times. And then I sold another book, Jury. Then I sold the big book that reached everyone, Rain of Gold. And how did I go 265 rejections and stay confident? How
Right,
did I keep writing? And now I'm 85 years old, and it's finally come to me that my confidence, my everything, I learned before kindergarten. And then I realized that we all learn our very foundation or an attitude towards life, emotional and very early on. And then I tried to write about my Yaqui Indian grandmother who raised me in the barrio de Carlos Malo, Carlsbad, California. And that she would tell me that we come from the stars and that we come with a guardian angel and we gather stardust to help Papito Dios, little daddy God, plant heaven on earth. And that's who we people are. We're we're helpers. We're God's helpers. And we've been doing this for hundreds of thousands, millions of years throughout the universe, planting heaven on earth and other planets. And I could never write that because it was too far out. And yet
right.
it was the foundation that gave me the confidence to write all my books. And then at 85, I'm trying to write this, and it's 300 pages, and it sounds like a philosophy book, like a lecture. And I was ready to quit. And I started praying that night, and I said, I don't know what to do, God. I know that I just haven't quite got the tools with which to reach the non-Latino audience. Uh, that's full. The Latinos are full of miracles in their dialogue and full of God con el milagro de Dios.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to the grocery store with the blessing of God, and everything is related back to God, and indigenous people are. So I went to sleep early, about 10 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock I woke up. I woke up, and Carmen, mi amor aquí, she says, "Are you okay, honey?" I said, "Shh, shh, 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 not a word." Shh. And I got up. I didn't even brush my teeth, and I went and I knew what to do. And I wrote like 16 hours
Wow.
nonstop, and I wrote this whole book called Gathering Stardust, almost all in one sitting. And it just came flying through me. And I was able to, and now I ask people, do you, looking back, do you remember your grandmother and your mother hugging you, nursing you, and you laughing and smiling and giggling? And do you remember seeing butterflies with them holding you, and flowers, and and I began to see that this is our foundation for all of us, old and young alike. And it's that us older people, we forget. And so this book makes me happy. And people are so excited about it. Like one woman, her son committed suicide. And my sister sent her the book, and she writes back, she calls back and says, "Oh my God, this book is so simple, so pure." And I went back and I'm talking to my grandmother. And then in talking to my grandmother, who's on the other side of I started talking to my son that committed suicide. And we're together. I didn't lose him. And
Yes.
she said this book is a miracle of bringing generations together. And and it's so, and another person read it and said, "I'm doing what the book says. I'm doing what the book said." I said, "What did the book say to you?" And they said, "Well, you say that part of our original instructions is every time we leave our home, we have to do something or say something to make at least 10 people smile and laugh."
Yes.
And she said, and I used to just go to the grocery store and go shopping and not talk to people. Now I go shopping. I say, "Oh, what beautiful shoes you have." And the woman says, "Oh, thank you." And they talk a little bit. "Oh, what a beautiful purse. Oh, that's a nice looking car you're driving." Or, "Boy, you have a great smile." And she says, all these people love somebody to interact with them. They're not alone. And I come home with, I didn't realize that causing people to smile and laugh makes my day full of, inside my heart and soul, full of laughter. I come home so happy.
Well,
So
it's important to be happy and to share engagement with people. And that was one of the things I enjoyed about COVID, because I would continue to walk to the supermarket. It's a half a mile away from me. And I went because I wanted to engage with these kids who have minor challenges, and they are the backroom kids. And I kept that as my purpose, to keep engaging with them and with strangers that I would meet along the path. And I didn't realize what I was doing, but when I read your book, which I love, it is brilliant, Victor. And it is such a gift, because it presents a whole different aspect than we tend to focus on. And you capture your grandmother and that whole experience so beautifully. Uh, and it's uh, it's very, very deep. It's very spiritual. I love the way you opened up with the famous quotes, like one of the quote on commitment from Goethe, and then you have a quote from uh, uh, Sister Teresa, uh, who worked in the slums of Calcutta. And she said, she talks about, she knew that God would never ask more of her than she could deliver, but she wished he hadn't had so much trust in her. Why did you pick that particular quote?
because I identify it so often, you know, I didn't know how, when I decided to become a writer, my background was I didn't speak English when I started school. I flunked the third grade twice. I was called a stupid Mexican. I was terrified. I'd wet my pants in school, and I didn't know what to do. And the words jumped around on the page, and eh, and school was a nightmare. And then in the seventh grade, a Marine gave me a chess set, and the other kids playing chess, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. It took me months to, and then one day the pieces became alive, and I became a chess champion. And then I started seeing patterns that other people couldn't see, and I beat all the smart students and the faculty, and they brought in a chess champion to get rid of the Mexican, to get rid of me, and I beat him. And and then I realized, hey, I'm not stupid. I just see the world differently. And and for me, there are many forms of genius. There are many forms of intelligence. And what I'm telling what this book is telling everyone, we all came across the heavens, gathering stardust. And that stardust, we brought it here to planet. That's inside of us. That's in our kingdom of God inside of us, like Christ said. Each of us is an angel. Each of us is a genius. You, everyone I talk to little kids, I say, you're an angel, you're a genius. You just forgot. And when you go to bed tonight, look in the mirror and say, good night, angel. Good night, genius. And go up to the stars and gather stardust for tomorrow because your job is to plant heaven and earth. And people start saying, hey, I like that. I like that. See, Anne Frank is the greatest writer ever, better than Shakespeare, better than anybody in the world. And her writing's so simple. She said, as they were exterminating her people, the Nazis, she said that she still thought that people are basically good at heart.
Yeah, well, this is true. There is goodness, there is light, there is love, and the thing is, we're so often taught in school a very materialistic approach to life, and we don't keep the faith, the creativity, the joy, and the playfulness of life. That's especially important for children because children are just so like little spark plugs, and they are full of light and love and the stardust. They have the magic, they understand the magic, they have little friends that they talk to, and they're very connected spiritually, I think.
Another thing that people don't know, see, every day when I go out, I talk to the kids. I ignore the parents. I walk up to the little kids, and they can be 1 year old, they can be 10 years old. And I say, you're an angel.
Yeah.
You're a genius. You're fantastic. You're wonderful. And they look at me, and now some kids get frightened because their parents have put them there. And some kids just start glowing and they are so happy because their parents have given them the confidence to that it's okay to speak to hear a stranger. And then I say, and your parents, they came in as angels and geniuses too, and they're fantastic, but they forgot. So you got to remind them, you need to help your parents. You need to help adults. You guys are still wonderful. Then I say a secret thing. I whisper, do you have flying dreams? And kids sometimes look at their parents and don't know what to say. Then they say yes. And they nod their head yes. And I say, well, I want you to know that you're going to have flying dreams. All kids have flying dreams from little babies to about the age of 11. And then they quit having them till they get into their old 78 and 80s. They start having them again. Your arms are really wings. You really are an angel. So enjoy your flying dreams. Then I ask the parents, do you still have flying dreams? And 99% of all parents say no, but some of them said, yes, I do. I say, oh, congratulations. You're aware of it. See, kids, we got to tell them when they go to sleep, you're going to fly through the heavens and have a flying dream, and you're going to come back with new stardust, and all your problems and all your worries are going to be dissolved because of the stardust you bring home here to earth every day. And that's the message of the whole book. We are all gathering stardust every night. Every night we go through the heavens and we're angels, all of us.
Well,
And
the heavens are, the heavens are the heavens, and there's also uh, heaven every day or hell every day, depending upon where our thought is. And I think the beauty of the book is that it returns us to this magical, really childlike, that freshness, that idea that there are angels, that there is creativity, that there is good in the world, that we do have everything possible. You're really talking about who we really are, aren't you?
yes, and you are an angel, and you are a genius, and you are fantastic. And I just see a young little girl over here that I'm looking at with some elephants behind her. And we're all doing good here on earth. We're all, like Anne Frank said, we're all good people in heart.
Well, they say that the key is love, and certainly your grandmother's wisdom and love was extremely nourishing. And the love that you got buoyed you forward through all the challenges that you did have. Let's talk a little bit about challenges because you've certainly had them. I've had them. And you wonder, why does this happen? You know, when you get knocked out, I lost my sight in 2009. And yet, my feeling about that is here I am. I'm alive. I'm healthy. I'm well. I have no disease. And I've written a book, Blind, and I'm working on another one and another one. And so the creativity is still there. It doesn't matter. And the absence of physical sight has also provided discernment, spiritual discernment. And isn't that what your grandmother was teaching you? That there's this other aspect of yourself that can do whatever because you are this larger self, this angel, this child of a wonderful and infinite creator.
We are, look at some of the greatest musicians in the world were blind. Looking, seeing the world can be a distraction. I tell young women, if they say, I'm not married, I'd like to, I say, well, next time you go out on a date and he's talking to you, close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, you're going to hear him differently.
Yes,
You're going to be able to see if he's
without
sincere
judgment.
or not.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. And when you want to have thoughts, close your eyes. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. And in the book, remember, the word God and breath are the same word. So when
Yes.
we take in a big breath, we're filling ourselves up with God. And you can change the word God to energy. You can call it, we,
Is it Yahweh, the Hebrew, the Yahweh? It is a breathing exercise. It is taking in spirit.
and when people say, see, the universe is alive. It's one united verse.
Yes.
And the language of God is music, vibrational frequencies. And when you've seen mothers and fathers when they walk into the mall with their tiny little kids, little tiny ones, they hear the music, they start bopping. They start bopping around with the music. Everyone comes into manifestation with their own little song. And when our own little song is in harmony with the symphony of creation of the universe, we're in ecstasy. We're alive spiritually, totally. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm 85 years old and I
And you're
am
still going
so
strong.
happy.
Yeah. It's not about age. It's not about age. It's about the connections and uh it's about those spiritual qualities.
Yes.
It's about those spiritual qualities, which is so important. You're a writer's writer, Victor. What is your daily practice in terms of how you approach your creativity and your writing?
I don't approach it. What I do is I go to bed. I try to go to bed early, let's say 10 o'clock, 9:30, 11 is late for me. And I looked in the mirror and I said, you're an angel. Have a good night's sleep. And then I go to bed, I go to sleep real easy. And I have wonderful dreams every night. And there are a lot of them in color. And when I go to wake up, I don't, I'm half awake and half asleep. And things start coming to me, like that guy that invented that religion, that 5 tablets of stone that came by. I said, that's small potatoes. I have entire pages of written material coming from the right to the left. And and I start hearing what I'm going to write about. I'm being programmed. So I would say that writing comes to me. I don't go to it. It comes
Yes.
to me,
Yeah.
it comes to me from the universe. It comes to me from my grandmothers. It comes to me from my friends. It comes to me from the a lady I met at Costco the other day. Oh, that was a fun one. And she's in a wheelchair, and I'm in line, and I say, "Come on, get in front of me." And she says, "No, no, no, you go ahead." I said, "Oh, come on, get in front of me." So I put her in front. And then when I finish paying, she's waiting for me in her wheelchair. And she's got little curly hair and she's really old and but her eyes are full of mischief. And I say to her, I say, "You were wild in high school, weren't you?" And she said, "No, no, I wasn't." I said, "Come on, be truthful. You were wild in high school." She said, "No, I was very friendly." And it
Oh,
starts laughing, and I start laughing. What does very friendly mean? That sounds wilder than wild. And and we're laughing and laughing and laughing. And I go to the parking lot just so happy and laughing to give to say something to people that causes them to smile and laugh, fills your night with full of energy, and you wake up with all that happy energy, and the writing comes to you. Okay?
it's a magical process. Yeah, it is a magical process.
Magical. That's the perfect word.
So keeping the magic in life, uh, knowing that there's an open flood of wisdom and creativity that is available to us, that works through us as us, knowing who we really are as angels, as spiritual beings, having this human experience. Um, those are tools that everybody can use, right?
We're using they're there. And we not only can all use, they're begging to be used. They're begging us. They it's ex life is exciting and fun, and we need to get out of the straitjackets. It's a big, sexy, wild experience. And I I've just have thousands of people that I've had smile and laugh, and it's just made my life so much nicer and wonderful and magical.
Well, it is magical, and your book is magical, and it's going to be a classic, like Rain of Gold. It's going to be a classic for young and old, and it's something to be read by young and old because it reminds me of that, of the stardust of the child within, at that, fresh, young, uh, open-minded, creative
It
soul, which all of us are.
it's designed as an adult children book for
Yes.
grandmothers and mothers and grandfathers, for them to read and turn the pages. And these wonderful sketches in there are done by a man, Jack, from Oregon. He lives with a bear. A bear lives on his roof, no joke. And then he has deer that give birth to their young in his yard. And this man's art is throughout the book. And you turn the pages and you read them, and it's a little game for grandmothers to do with their grandkids so that they can learn the tools to help make this a kinder, better world. We need the tools with which to do that, and that's what this book does.
Thank you,
Well, I
Yolanda.
want to thank you for sharing and for bringing this book forward. It really is a magnificent work of art, of creativity, of helping us look at who we really are. And that's so important in this world today that's become so challenging and difficult. And it'll help bring the stardust back into the world and bring more light and love into the world, which is what we're all here to do. I want to thank you so much, Victor. May God bless you continually and keep you creative and laughing and bringing joy to all of us who read your work. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And to the audience, I want to invite you to tune in again in this month for my interview with Congresswoman Teresa Leger Fernandez from New Mexico to celebrate and honor her for Women's History Month. This is our time as women, and so this is Women's History Month beginning in March. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Yolanda Nava.